episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you're enjoying it. I do apologise, I did start this video a minute ago. My Wi-Fi has been really playing up tonight. And my Wi-Fi modem was literally flashing red at me a short while ago. So I hope this is going to be fine and it's not going to stop again on me. I got something really exciting to share with you. I was on the Jeremy Vine show, BBC 2. It's just gone after midnight, so I was actually on the show on Monday, the 25th of March 2019. So that's when I was on there. We've just gone through to the next day now, which is the 26th of March. So I was on the 25th of March. I can put a link as well in the description that you can go and see, but it's only live for 27 days. So what I've done is I've got my bit of the interview ready and I'm going to record it on here. We're going to listen to it together, just my bit. I can't do the whole interview because I don't own the content. It is copyrighted to the BBC. So I will put a disclaimer in the description saying I am using this for educational purposes only and will only be my part of the interview that you will hear. If you want to hear all of it, you have to click the link down below within 27 days from the 25th of March 2019. So if you're watching this video after that, the link will be gone from underneath and you won't be able to see the rest of the interview. But I will put a disclaimer in underneath this video saying the BBC own all the content of what I'm about to show you. It is a radio talk, not a TV talk, so you'll be listening to my voice and Jeremy Vine's voice. Jeremy Vine does actually come on Channel 5. He's got a morning show, so he's quite well known in the media in the UK, so it's going to be really good. He's literally just starting to introduce me, so I'm going to spin it around and you can listen to my bit of the conversation. It's called Asexuality and Petitions because of stuff that's happening in the UK with Brexit at the moment. They want us to sign a petition to say not to go out of it, which I personally don't agree with going out of Brexit. So you know, going out of the EU to going into, you know, doing Brexit. I personally don't agree with it, so I've signed the petition to say stop it. But obviously my views are not the same as everyone else's. But yeah, it was one of the asexuals I know. They sent me the petition, so I signed it. Yeah, so it was a mixed show for 2 hours, and the first hour was talking about other things, and the second hour, the start of it was talking about asexuality. There was another person on there that was being interviewed, and there was this medical professional as well, psychotherapist, and there was me, and the person that was on before has finished their conversation, and now the interviewer, which is Jeremy Vine, he is going to be specifically talking to me on a phone-in interview. So I hope you love this. If you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up after it's finished. So let's spin you around. And this is the play out on BBC iPlayer. So, and this is what it looked like on the actual, you know, like, thing that you look at. And we're literally going to listen to this now. Straight away, it's going to be me because I got it to the right point. Remember, the BBC owns this content. I am literally using it for educational purposes only. That's it. Okay.
Sandra Bellamy in Exeter is on the line, and you are asexual, Sandra.
I am indeed. I'm a heteromantic asexual, so I'm attracted to guys romantically, but not sexually. But I have had sex in the past with my previous heterosexual exes.
Right. Do you know what? I followed all of that, so I'm getting with it now. So,
Yay.
You go to the cinema, you go to the restaurant, that's all great. And at some point, at the end of the evening, you have to explain. Is that right or not?
Yeah, so basically I found out as asexual in 2014. I split up, me and my ex split up in 2011. My heterosexual ex, I was in a relationship for about 8.5 years. And after that time, I had like a year out of dating. And then for a couple of years, I was dating heterosexuals. And I just got so like so concerned at the end of the night, the expectation of sex, which I knew I could no longer have. I just didn't want it anymore. I mean, I never wanted it in the first place with my ex. I never looked at him and thought, I want sex with you. It's just I thought I'd had to do that as part of a normal relationship. And so in 2014, I went to see a counsellor because I just couldn't stand the expectation of sex at the end of the night, at the end of the day. And I really wanted a relationship because I'm hugely, hugely romantic. Like, I love kissing, I love cuddling, I love holding hands, public displays of affection, all that lot. And I went to this counsellor, and I went to this counsellor, and what happened was horrific because I went to her to tell her, that I was so upset because I thought I could never have a relationship again. And I was going to be like that for the rest of my life because I just couldn't have sex, and everyone seemed to want sex. I thought I was the only one in the entire world that never, ever wanted sex. I just didn't like it. I didn't want it. I didn't need it. I didn't even like nudity, but I had been nude with my ex. But, it's something I'm not interested in.
And what did the counsellor say?
She turned around to me and said I would have to have sex in order to keep a good guy. And this is an NHS counsellor,
Lucy,
It's
you wouldn't have said that.
I just find this, Sandra, I'm glad you're highlighting it, but I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. I mean, people in my world, in the therapy world, we have a duty of care, and we have to recognise that there are people with this particular orientation. It isn't enough to say, oh, everybody needs to have sex for a healthy relationship. It is about listening to your patients, listening to your clients, and being led by them. And I think, Sandra, you did really well in a way to discover yourself, to own your own voice, to own your own label, really. You asked Lisa quite an interesting question about labels. Sandra, how did you feel about having this label? Did it suddenly kind of make, the penny drop and think, oh, thank goodness, now I know what's going on?
Well, when the counsellor wouldn't listen to me and was saying that to me, I went home and Googled I love kissing, but not sex. And that's when I found Asexuality and asexuality.org, which is the biggest online community for asexuals. Yeah. And it's been a journey of discovery. And now I've got a full label, which I love labeling myself, but my label's very, very unique. So I'm kind of a minority within a minority of asexual. So I identify myself as a heteromantic, hyper-romantic, grey A asexual, but not textbook grey A. So I've got grey area of passionate kissing, and I do get high arousal levels, but I have no sexual attraction. So I'm not actually a specific textbook grey A.
Right.
Asexual cougar. So I get attracted to really, really younger guys in their early 20s usually, foreign usually, really want an Indian soulmate. That's what I'm looking for. But, I'm asexual, so when I see a younger foreign guy, for example, in his 20s, I really get attracted to beautiful, like, sort of brown or dark skin, and I really I have some foreign friends, and I want to kiss them and to cuddle them and to hug them, to spend time with them, not to have sex with them.
Right.
So yeah.
Is there, okay, now I'm going to ask a sensitive question. Do people have orgasms as asexual people?
Oh, right, okay. So with me, right, I don't... So when the word orgasm is a bit of a foreign concept to me, because I can do all the physical stuff. So, like, if I'm having sex, like, with my heterosexual last ex, he was very abusive, but not in a sexual way. In a sexual way, he was the most kindest person. It was really weird with him. He was verbally abusive, mentally abusive, but in a sexual way, he was really good at doing that. Because a lot of asexuals get told, oh, you haven't had good sex, that's why you're asexual. It's like, no, actually, my ex was good at that, But I just didn't want it, and physically I've got all my tackle working down there, so I could I can come or whatever. But to me, when the people use the word orgasmic, I don't associate that with sex.
How interesting. Gosh, Lucy, this is a whole new world.
It is, and I think we need to be up to speed with it, because the research suggests that it could be up to 1% of the population, which in this country is about 600,000. I think self-identification is really key here, but I think it's also important to stress that there is a spectrum, and therefore what works for one person who identifies as asexual wouldn't necessarily work for someone else. As you identified with Sandra, she's got quite a narrow, a very specific self-identification. There are also people who are autocorysexual, which means that they are very disassociative with the objects or the people that they fantasize about. So they might be fantasizing about fictional characters, people in cartoons, in porn movies, in books.
Right.
So they can fantasize about the sex, and they might even be aroused by it, but they have absolutely no interest in having sex with a real person.
Really?
Yes.
Susanna emails, I've been married 14 years. I got 3 children. I've been with my husband for 21 years. I now think he is asexual. We have many rows about it. It feels like he isn't attracted to me. My self-esteem is on the floor because of it. We probably have sex twice a year. I've thought about divorce, but I love him too much. Now, there could be quite a lot of marriages described like that. I don't know. That's tricky.
It is tricky because, of course, what we really want to know in order to be quite precise about the orientation is, was it always like this? Even when they were courting, did she feel that her husband was disinterested in sex? I know they have 3 children, so they've obviously done it. But has it been a pattern from the very beginning? Because, again, it's this distinction between an ongoing, persistent orientation and something that changes, which could be hormonal. I mean, in this particular case, you might even want to get your husband checked out hormonally, because there could be some hormonal fluctuations which happen for men just as much as they do for women. We have the menopause as opposed to the menopause. So if you try to get that checked out, that might actually change things. But
Could
if
he become, just through the sheer length of the marriage, bored sexually,
Yeah,
and
sometimes-
therefore he could become asexual?
No, you can't
No.
become asexual.
Right.
You are asexual. In the same way as you can't become
So
homosexual.
asexual is not about just being not interested in sex with one
Exactly.
person.
It's not about It's not about celibacy. It's not about sexual anorexia. It's not about withdrawing your sexual favors due to anger. You know, you're not acting out your sexual disinterest because you're cross with your partner for something. It's an orientation which has been there from the beginning.
Thank you very much indeed, Lucy Beresford, psychotherapist, on a different kind of medical Monday today, talking about being...
So that was really interesting, wasn't it? Wow. I thought that was really good. Yeah, it's very, 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 very interesting. I think he says at one point, thanks very much, Sandra Bellamy, for talking. So shall we see if there's any more on there? Have a look.
being asexual.
Oh, yeah, no, looks like I'm done. So yeah, that was really, really good. I thought it was very, very good. I will go back and have a quick look later on if there's any more, but obviously it's copyright to the BBC, so I can't play the whole interview anyway, so I will link it down below so you can watch the interview. But I was just so happy to actually, you know, be having my say on there. And I think it's good, you know. I mean, the person that was on before me, her side of things is quite different to mine. But I thought it was nice that, you know, I could be open and honest about the orgasm thing. I mean, most people wouldn't want to answer that question. And the person that was on before me, she was quite taken aback when he was asking her intimate questions. But because I do this show, and I've been doing this show now since 2015, and I'm talking here every day, and I'm talking about such personal stuff that to me, it's kind of like water off a duck's back now, if you pardon the expression. I'm just so used to talking about sexual stuff that it doesn't bother me really anymore. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not partaking in sex. So to me, it's like I'm disassociated from that. So like when he's asking me questions like that, I think it's really good as well, because obviously he was a bit shocked. He didn't really understand how I can do the physical stuff, but I don't think of the word orgasmic, an orgasm, as associated with sex, because I don't think like that. To be honest, I wanted to start saying I'd prefer to eat like a sugar-free chocolate ice cream or something like that, because I get more pleasure, and I'd use the orgasmic word more with like a sugar-free, wheat-free, gluten-free pot of chocolate ice cream. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, like a health bar that's chocolatey. Stuff like that. I find that much more appealing. I find that much more sensually pleasurable and enjoyable. Do you know what I mean? I would say like having a foodgasm is much more orgasmic than just doing that. You know what I mean? I don't really associate the word orgasm. The word orgasm, orgasmic, to me seems like a wonderful experience. You know, like you're floating on air, but I don't get that from sex. You know, if I'm kissing, that's different. I'm very into kissing. Tongue kissing, which is quite difficult because most of the asexual community doesn't seem to be that interested in that much kissing like I am, unless they're on the more sexual end of the spectrum, and then they're a bit too sexual for me usually, which is a pain in the butt. for me. Do you know what I mean? Not literally. But yeah, so I hope you liked that interview. I will link it down below. And I think it was really, really good, you know, to be on there and to have my say. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't expected to be on there. Thank you. The show was very open-minded. Yeah, thank you, Heather. I thought the psychotherapist was really, really good. It's nice to see you. Thanks for the thumbs up as well. I thought it was a really good show. I mean, I didn't know I was going to be on it, so it's really, really weird. So I've been sorting my asexualist.com site out online on the so by the early hours of the 25th of March 2019, when I'm recording this live, then basically my website's been offline. Now it's back online, but I've still not got all the blog posts back on there. But I literally was doing it overnight, so I had about 3.5 hours sleep. And then I phoned my mum because I've ordered some hay for Angel, who's my guinea pig, who's diabetic. And I hadn't heard from the pet shop that had come in. So I phoned my mum. And as soon as I finished on the phone with my mum, one of my friends, who I used to do hospital radio presenting with, actually, because I've been a hospital radio presenter for years, which does help me being on the radio because I've got a good radio voice, you know. And I'm used to talking on air. So he was really happy with me, I have to tell you that. He said to me as soon as the show ended, it was great, and can I add you to our BBC database so that we can talk to you at a later date if we want to? I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead, please do. So I thought that was just amazing. He just added, I could tell he was adding me straight away. So I'll be a person that they can come to speak to about asexuality now. So I'm absolutely thrilled with that result. So yeah, it's amazing, you know. So it was just an incredible experience. So to cut a long story short, I finished talking to my mum, and then I got a message from one of my friends who was also a hospital radio presenter, and he, that's how I met him, and he messaged me going, oh, hey, Sandra, I thought you might like to know asexuality. It's on the Jeremy Vine show today at, what time was it on? It was on, was it up till 2 o'clock? But I was on between 1 and 2, so yeah, it must have been 12 till 2. That was right, and when he messaged me, though, it was coming up 1:45, so it's between 22 and 1:45. And he messaged me and 3 minutes before I'd finished talking to my mum, and I saw it. But if I hadn't have phoned the pet shop, because I usually keep my phone switched off when I'm working, if I hadn't phoned the pet shop, I wouldn't have had my phone on, so I wouldn't have seen that message, and I missed that opportunity. I wouldn't have had my phone on if I hadn't phoned my mum, but I could have used a landline, obviously, if I got my phone switched off. But and as soon as I finished my wire 3 minutes ago, and I messaged him going, he goes, you could get on that show. And I'm like, how? And he's like, oh, go to the website. So I just Googled how to get on the show and came up with a phone number. So I just phoned in, and his producer, they have usually a show producer that helps them out in radio. So yeah, he was asking me loads of questions and trying to write everything down that I was saying in a few minutes before he was deciding whether I go on air or not, after 1. And it was coming up 1, and they said, this is a really good signal on your phone. Really nice to talk to you. He spoke to the Jeremy for me, and then he said, if we've got time, we'll put you on in the end. Stand by your phone. And then I get a phone call a little bit later on after the other person finished talking, and they said, and they just said, after the music's finished, you'll be on air. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I didn't know what questions they were going to ask me or anything. Nothing. So I like ad-libbing, though. You know I do with this channel. I just talk to camera. It's just natural for me. So thank you, Heather. So yeah, so it was amazing, and I loved it, and I really, really enjoyed it. I love talking on radio, and he did really like it, because I could tell when he said, I'll add you to the database. I mean, you don't get asked to do stuff like that unless they're really impressed with you. So I was just really happy. I was happy to talk about asexuality, happy that I was on the radio, because obviously I used to do radio presenting voluntarily for years, so that's kind of very comfortable for me. And I was just happy that I could share a slightly different angle as well. I've had sex, and it was, my ex was good at that, because I get so many people that I get fed up with hearing people go, you just haven't had good sex. That's why you're asexual. And it really winds me up. And obviously, my ex was good at that. And so that is simply not true. It's got nothing to do with whether the person, obviously if the person's good at it, the sensation is a bit better than someone who's an idiot and just sticks it in, you know what I mean? Because it's not, do you know what I mean? If you're asexual, you may as well get some physical sensation or pleasure out of it if you can. But if a person just sticks it in, it's like really boring. Do you know what I mean? But if a person like does lots of touching, if you're a sensual person and you like touching on the body, then obviously before they have the sex, that's going to be better for you than someone just sticks it in you. It's pretty much common sense, really. But if you don't like sex, full stop, you don't like it, you don't have to have it, do you? But if you're going to have it or try it, then at least get some sort of like pleasure or satisfaction or sensation that's pleasant for you out of it. Do you know what I mean? You may as well while you're doing that, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I just, it was nice. It was good. And I'm glad I answered that question, because I'm glad he asked me, really, because I know that I'm not really afraid of answering questions like that. I think he was a bit shocked. Probably didn't understand how I can have physical liquid coming out of me, yet don't think that's really awesome and orgasmic and amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't feel that way. Kissing's always felt better. I tell you, kissing is orgasmic to me, but in the natural sense, not in a guy sticking it in sense. But do you know what I mean? It's like not, you know, in the physical pleasure sense, I'd say, in the releasing sense, I'd say, not as in intercourse. I'm just not interested in intercourse. I've never been interested in intercourse. I always preferred the kissing and the guy's finger to his penis any day. I don't need the penis, thanks very much. He can keep that in his trousers, you know what I mean? I don't know why women rave over that. It's just, to me. Very disgusting. I mean, obviously, if you're sexual, then you're going to like that, probably. But not all sexuals like it, though. But you know what I mean? And it's really weird. I was watching this show the other day. I thought, I'll watch this YouTube show. It's all about what men really think of sex. And it was a chat show, like a radio show, but you saw the people. And it was a presenter with 3 people around the table. No, 4. 3 guys and a woman. And the guy, the presenter was asking about their sex life, basically, and one's a happily married guy and he has sex regularly and his woman likes it at least 3 times they usually do it 3 times a day, and his woman would have it more if she had her way. So that's his wife wants it more than, he was making out his wife wants it so much. And then he said, but he does masturbate in between. But I don't really understand. I'm thinking, well, if your wife likes it that much and you like it that much, then why do you need to masturbate in between? Have you really got time? If you're doing it 3 times a day, that I don't know if that's just a brag. Some guys like it. Then there was another guy, which was very interesting. He says, I'm not, he liked masturbation and he could like live without sex for some time. He wasn't so fussed. Do you know what I mean? Like in between he'd do that and he wasn't really like needing it so much. Then there was this younger guy and he was like, he's single, but then just has people to have sex with as and when he needs it, really. Like the longest he ever goes without sex is about 3 months. And it just makes me feel sick when it's like that. I can't understand. Well, I know loads of people do, I've known people who do, but I just can't personally understand why someone, if you're going to have sex, would have it with someone that you don't even know, that you're not in a relationship with. To me, that's absolutely bonkers. I mean, if I was going to do that, but I don't ever want to do that again, it would always be in a serious committed relationship. I wouldn't want to do that with some random person. But I know people like it, but, he was like, oh, yeah, and they were like, if you're single, then how do you do it? And he doesn't masturbate either. This younger guy, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the thought of it, so he doesn't do it at all. So the presenter was going, well, what do you do then? And he's like, well, I'm okay up to 3 months, but, I usually meet different people and we, do that. And he's all about, it's not just about that, it's all the woman's body and touching it and all sensual. And that makes me feel sick, to be honest. I'm like, how can you just do that and with someone that you're not in a relationship with? I know that's because I'm a really monogamous type of person, though, not everyone's like me. And then the woman that was on there was very similar to the young guy. Like, she hadn't got a boyfriend anymore, and she was like, I thought, why don't they just pair those 2 up? They seem well suited. They look similar. They're like, had similar needs, just get them together, because she was a bit like him. Like, she'll have sex with people if she hasn't had it for a while, if the right, attractive person comes along. So, I thought, oh, they're good together. But it made me feel sick and grossed out. The whole, I watched a bit of this other show that this presenter did as well. And this one guy, he's just talking about, he met this woman and because she was so good at sex, he knew he wanted to marry her and, have her to have his babies, and she rejected him and dumped him. And then someone in the comments, well, yeah, they can be rabbits together. Exactly, Heather. Someone put in the comments, I forgot what I was going to say now. But yeah, those couple can, they should be a couple, really. But yeah, this second show that I was talking about, this guy was really like saying, oh, he wanted this woman to be his wife and have kids because, he had good sex with her, but she dumped him. And the people in the comments were saying, I'm not surprised, you're just treating her like an object. It's gross. And these were people that weren't asexual, likely saying it in the comments. They're just like, yeah, you lose her like a piece of meat. Like, what's the point? But, it's just, I just think, I know there's sexual people, heterosexuals, that absolutely adore sex. I do understand that. They're different to me. But, I just, the more I watch a show like that, it starts getting so cringy that I just think, oh, you're so asexual, Sandra. It's unbelievable. Like, it's like they're talking in a language that is just repulsive to me. And they're just completely turning me off to them and to the situation of sex. It's just like gross, I mean, I appreciate demisexuals more in the asexual spectrum because they've got to have that strong, deep emotional bond. So they're not just like looking for sex or, unless they got that bond, they can't have sexual attraction and really, the sexual desire with a specific person. They can't get that. And that's why I like demisexuals in comparison to like the usual heterosexual or sexuals, pansexual, bisexual, homosexual, because demisexuals, they have to have that, and it's crucial to them. A true demisexual, there's some people that lie and not, there are some people that are like, oh yeah, I have to have an emotional connection, and it's like, well, usually normal, average heterosexuals do either. They have to have an emotional connection too, but with demisexuals, some people don't understand, they cannot experience sexual attraction without that, whereas a heterosexual could, just that they would choose to refrain from it until they had emotional bond, maybe if they're that type of person, to refrain from it, if you know what I mean. So that's why it's really, really difficult. But anyway, I thought the interview went well. I thought it was nice because the other person that's on there very much kind of was different to me in what she was talking about, but she did talk about asexuality well, I thought, and the psychotherapist was really good, very supportive of asexuality, actually. She's probably the first psychotherapist I've ever thought who really understood us. She's like, it's not celibacy, it's not abstain. The amount of people that I get in private message, you go, oh, well, I haven't had sex for 3 months or for some time, or I'm asexual at the moment, or I've been asexual now for 3 months. It's like, you're not asexual. You can't just because you haven't had sex for 3 months doesn't mean to say you're asexual. Oh, I haven't had sex for some time. Oh, I'm a bit asexual. Oh, but sometimes I'm not. It's just like absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm talking to a guy on meetup.com now, and he told me he's heterosexual, and then he was telling me he's demisexual, and now he's gone back to the fact that I'm not asexual. I thought, well, of course you're not asexual. You told me in the first place you're heterosexual, so what's the point in even pretending you're asexual? I already know you're heterosexual. You were honest in the beginning. I liked that. What's the point? But I think it's because he's like me. He's looking for his soulmate, he's just said. Even though he likes friends, he's actually really looking for a soulmate in a relationship. So that's not going to work because he needs sex and I don't, which is a shame because he looks like he's Indian or at least foreign in the UK, in London as well. So that's a bit of a shame. But hey ho, I'll meet my Indian soulmate or at least younger foreign soulmate one day. He's out there. I know he is. He's just got to find me. And when he does, he'll be happy. So there you go. Anyway, I hope this video has been useful, helpful, and insightful. Don't forget the BBC do own this content, so it is just for educational purposes only. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll put the link down below, but don't forget it won't work after 27 days from the 25th of March 2019. And so do go and listen to it, the whole thing while you can. And I will see you on the next video or live stream. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Thank you, Heather, so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. It's always lovely to have you here. You're a wonderful person. Good night, Heather. Don't forget to subscribe, everyone else, and hit that bell icon to get notified every time I go live. Right now, I'll post a new video. If you haven't already subscribed, take care. Bye. Night, Heather. Bye, everyone else. Bye, wherever you are. Night. Morning. Bye.